If you can hear me, please use the chat box. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Okay, okay. Thanks, Ibukun, for that. I can hear you, sir. All right. So, I'll just begin then. I actually don't want to take much of our time. Okay, 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 okay. All right.
So we are 4 minutes in to 11, and we just like to take about 3 more minutes to wait till others join us, so that we can have quite a good number of people on the call before we go ahead. Well, thank you once again for joining us. We would proceed with this webinar in the next 3 minutes.
Okay. All right. I think we are just waiting for more people to join before we begin.
Exactly. Welcome, Chukwebuka. My name is Oluwatomi. We're waiting for about 2 more minutes now, just for us to allow more people to join us so that we can proceed with the webinar as scheduled. So we'll just wait for 2 more minutes. We just want others to be able to catch up with some of the things that we'll be saying, and then we'll go ahead.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone, once again, and welcome to the How to Start and Grow a Thriving Online Community webinar with David Kachikwu. My name is Oluwatomi Lawal, and I will be moderating the event for today. So we're going to go straight into it. We're trying to wait for a few minutes, so we'll have more people join us on the call. Thank you, Ebuka, Ibuku, and Francis for joining us. You might want to tell us where you're joining us from as we go ahead with the webinar this morning. This is being recorded, so we trust that we'll be able to share this recording as well with some of those that may join us a little bit later. Just so that we don't waste much time anymore, we'll go ahead to start this. So before David Kachikwu comes up, I'll just try to do a little bit of introduction of who our facilitator is for today. David Kachikwu is a social entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with practical experience, helping more than 20 small businesses to generate over 20 million naira in sales revenue over the past 4 years. He is also a global Facebook community growth specialist, helping businesses and brands build and manage communities of ambassadors, loyalists, and champions. He is the founder of Raise a Genius Kid with Richard David Africa, a closed Facebook community group of over 700,000 mothers across various cities in Nigeria and Africa. He also leads the team at Daystar Digital Agency, a bespoke operational digital marketing company focused on using digital marketing tools to deliver business, sales, and growth objectives. David is a public speaker, delivering lectures and facilitating workshops on topics such as digital marketing, community building, and digital community marketing. He teaches these subjects to business owners, aspiring digital marketers, youths, and students across the country. He is the convener of the Millionaire Facebook group, a community focused on helping entrepreneurs, marketers, and business professionals scale their businesses using Facebook groups. He's also a facilitator at Reverb Africa, where he teaches public school students to become better adults. So now I would like to welcome David Kachiko, who will be taking us briefly on how to start and grow an online community. David, over to you.
Thank you so much, Tommy, for the introduction. Like she already introduced me, my name is David Kachikwu once again, and I am a certified Facebook community manager. So today I will be teaching you guys how to start and grow a thriving online community. Um, I wouldn't want to take most of our time as we've spent about 16 minutes already, and I'll just begin immediately. So who am I and why should you listen? Tommy has already done the intro. That's my picture there. And yes, that's just me. And so today I will be working mostly with Facebook group because that is at least one of the most interesting platforms. Okay.
Yes, we lost you for a bit, David, but you're back now. Yes.
Okay, can you see my screen now? Tommy, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I said I will be talking mostly. I will be using Facebook group as one of the online community building platforms for today's training. We have several online community platforms. There are features that you can use. We have Facebook pages, we have Instagram pages, we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn. So all these social platforms are good for online community building, but Facebook group is one of the best because it has a whole lot of features that you can use, and it's easier to grow and manage than any other online building platforms that you can think of. So that's why I'll be using Facebook group for today's training for you guys. So Facebook groups, I believe we all know what Facebook group is all about. Like everybody is already on Facebook. Each and every one of us, we have an account on Facebook, and we all know what Facebook groups are. We belong to one or many of Facebook communities online. So moving ahead, how I grew my community to 700,000 plus members in a space of 4 years. So a whole lot of people have been asking me this question: how did you grow your community so fast? How did you do this? How did you do that? And then having to achieve this growth without having to spend any money on adverts and all those stuff. Everything was just pure organic, and um, it involves a whole lot of strategies which I will be sharing with you guys today. So my community raised a genius kid with Star David Africa. As you can see here, we have about 719,000 community members, and just so you see it here, you can see 719,000 community members in the space of 4 years. So how was I able to achieve this? It's very easy building online communities. There are a lot of things that you need to understand when it comes to building communities online, mostly with Facebook group. Um, and you need to know that picking platform is very, very important. Like I said, you need to pick the right platform, and then you need to pick the right niche. You need to get the right audience, and then you need to engage your audience with content. So I'll be breaking these things down. This is like the whole idea of what we'll be working with today. These 4 steps, because these are the steps that I use to grow my community to what it is today. So everything that we're going to do today is going to revolve around these 4 topics, and I will be breaking them down for you so that you would understand how I was able to do it. So the first thing I did was picking a platform. Like I said, Facebook group is one of the best platforms to begin with when you want to, build an online community. um, Facebook group is highly recommended, and it's one of the best. We have Facebook pages, like I said, we have Instagram pages as well, but Facebook group is one of the best, and for online community growth. So the next thing you want to do is picking a niche. What I mean by picking a niche is picking an industry where you want to, picking an interest that you would want to teach and grow your community on. We have several niches, we have several interests, we have different industries that you can pick from and grow your community on. And another thing you need to know when picking a niche is that it's not all niche, it's not all interest that your community is going to grow large as mine. There are different niches, there are different interests, and some communities have a whole lot of topics that you can treat on. Some communities have topics that the members are very, very interested in those topics, and then you can get the community growing very fast. And there are some communities that even if you try as much as you can to grow it, it's definitely not going to grow to what my own community is now. So when you are picking a niche, you have to be very, very sure that this niche that you are picking, it has a whole lot of topics. It's an interesting niche, and people can easily engage and and interact in the community, because if there is no interaction, the community is not going to grow. So picking a niche is very, very important. If you are considering growing a large community like my community, then you have to pick a niche that has a whole lot of audience, a whole lot of topic. The you have the higher chances of growing a large community. But if you pick a niche that the topics are not really interesting and the people there are not the kind of people that likes to talk, then you'd face a whole lot of challenges growing the community. You are going to face a whole lot of challenges growing the community, and you might end up not, building a very large community. You might end up not having an engaged members. So there are some examples of niches that you can begin with if you are looking at growing a very large, community. You can look for interesting topics like the motherhood industry, which is my own niche. You can pick the sports industry, the entertainment industry. These are topics that have a whole lot of there are niches that have a whole lot of topics that people can easily engage. So the first step is to picking a niche that you know that people will easily engage in, picking a niche that people will easily, interact, and they are free to share and, talk about. So niche is very, very important. And that was what I did. I picked the right platform, which was Facebook group, and then I picked the right niche, which was the parenting niche, because I know that this industry, there are a lot of talks there, and people can easily engage. There are a lot of topics, mothers, there are a lot of things that they have, that, so many things that they talk about every day when it comes to parenting and taking care of their children. There are so many challenges, so many problems. So all these things brings about engagement and interaction. So picking a platform is very, very vital, and picking a niche is also very, very vital. So the next thing that you might want to do after that is to get your audience, getting people to interact, getting people into your community, and getting people to interact with your group. Getting audience is actually not so difficult as people think it is. I always advise people that when you are building your community, you have to be sure that, branding comes a long way when it comes to building your community. I would have added branding here, but this is actually a very, very short webinar, and I wouldn't want to take most of our time. So I will just brief through the whole idea for you, so that you can at least get the right strategy if you want to begin building your community today. So when it comes to getting your audience, your branding has to be very, very on point. If you are working as a personal brand, or if you are building your community as a business, there are two ways that you can actually grow a community. It's either you are growing your community as a personal brand, which is using your name and being the leader, or you are growing your community in form of your business and not putting your name to it. So whichever one that you are using, you have to be sure that the brand, the personal brand or the business brand, is very, very on point, and you are somebody that people would easily check out, and would love to follow. So take for example using your personal brand, because I believe most people who are watching here are people that would want to grow their communities, and people that are interested in building online communities. So let's work with your personal brand. So using a personal brand, I'm still explaining the aspect of getting your audience, because in order for you to get audience into your community, your branding has to be very, very on point. Um, when you are building a community, you are more like a leader, and people are definitely going to start checking you out. And when they check you out, you wouldn't want your profile uh, or your branding to be a mess. So you have to like replicate what your community is all about, and that would attract more people to joining your community and following you. So your branding has to be very, very on point. You have to revamp your profile on Facebook, and make sure that your picture is on point, your bio is on point, and everything about you speaks exactly like who people would want to follow and listen to. So there. Uh, okay, sorry about that. I think I lost you guys again. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me now and if you can see my screen. Okay. All right. So I said getting your audience, which is very, very vital. There are some strategies that you can use to get audience into your community. As once you finish, branding your profile and branding your business profile, whichever one that you are using, getting your audience is actually very easy. One thing is to get audience from industries or groups that are related to your niche, and another way to get your audience is by running social media adverts. That is a little bit advanced, so I'm just going to talk about getting audience from various industries that are related to your community. So one thing to do is first, after branding your profile and making sure that your Facebook account is something that people would visit and be like, okay, I think this person is somebody that we can engage and and be friends with. So once you've done that, search for um, related groups in the niche that you are going to go for. Take for example, in my own process, what I did was I searched for communities that are for mothers, communities that are related in parenting and motherhood. I searched for those communities on Facebook and then I joined those communities. So when I joined those communities, I started sharing content in those communities for free, and then I added people. I sent friend requests to people who engage in those topics, in those content that I shared in those communities. When I added those people as friends, then I invited them into my own group. So I kept doing this every day, every day, every day. And that was just how I got a whole lot of people into my own community. And from there, I the community started picking up from there. So the strategy is just very easy. You just have to be consistent with it. Join groups that are related to you know, to your industry. Share content on those platforms. Then people that engage with the content that you share on those platforms, which means those people, they are interested in um, learning more from whatever it is that you're sharing. Add those people as friends and then invite them over to your own community. So that's the number one top strategy when it comes to adding, getting your audience into your community. Then the next thing you might want to do is engage with those audience when they come into your community. One thing is to get your audience, and another thing is to keep them engaged in your community. So one way to keep them engaged in your community is to share um, is to share valuable content with them. You have to keep sharing content in your community and you have to keep encouraging them to participate so that they are going to be hooked with you. So these are just like the main thing that you need to do when it comes to building an online community. I don't really have much time, so I'm trying to brush up everything real quick so that I would be on time. So these are just what I did. The first thing was I picked a platform, I picked an interesting niche that has a whole lot of topic, and then I branded the profile so that the profile is going to be the profile talks about what the community that I want to build is all about. Take for example, what I mean here is if I'm building a community on weight loss, I myself, I'm going to brand my personal profile as a weight loss coach. So it's easier for people to communicate. When I say I have a community on weight loss, they know that, okay, this person talks more about this person is a weight loss coach. This person, she's a weight loss coach. So they already know that my personal branding is all about weight loss coach. So it's easier for them to communicate. So that is what you should do. When you pick a platform, you pick a niche, you brand your profile. I forgot to add it here. That should have been the number 3 step. Then the number 4 should have been get your audience. So branding is very important. Brand your profile, then get the audience. Getting the audience, search for related groups on the topic that you want to, build your community on. Search for those communities on Facebook, join those communities, then share content on those communities, then add up people who interact with those content as friends, send them friend requests. Then when they accept, you add them to your own community and you keep engaging with them on your own community. So um, a time will come, you will stop, maybe okay. Uh, I think my network is so bad. I hope you guys can still hear me. Okay, so that's just that. I hope you guys can still hear me clearly, and I will just move on to the next one. I hope this is clear enough. I hope this is clear enough. I am just trying to brush everything up. I hope it's clear enough. So moving on, what are the strategies for converting community members to brand loyalties? Um, like I already explained, there are so many ways that you can make these people fall in love with your community. You can make them stick to your community and make them a loyal fan. One way to do that is by sharing valuable content, like I already explained. They need to have a reason to be in your community, like what is in it for them when they are in your community? What are they benefiting when they are in your community? So these are things that you need to figure out yourself. You need to know that first, what value am I bringing to the people in this community? The first thing you can do is to share valuable content with them, content that you know that when they apply it, it can easily, help them, and it can easily help them improve their lives and learn new things every day when they're in your community. So one thing I did, because I have a very loyal fan base of community members, and what kept them loyal to my brand is the fact that I have been consistent with sharing valuable parenting content with them all for free, and they loved it so much. So that's the number one strategies that I use, sharing valuable content. Just come think of it, there are so many communities that we belong to. Think of the reason why you are still attached to such community. At the end, it all falls back to the content that the community is generating, the kind of content that that community is sharing. Think of it from entertainment to business to industry experts to public figures. Just think of any brand that you've been following and think of the reason why you have been, loyal to those brands. You realize that it is as a result of the level of content that they share. That is why you are, loyal to them. You love their content. It either is entertaining to you or it is educative to you, whichever one. But it all boils down to the content level. So, if you want to keep your community members loyal to you, make sure that you are sharing valuable content with them. It's very, very important. So the next thing is community management skills for continued relevance. There are so many things that you need to understand when it comes to community management. There are some times that you might feel that your members are not engaging, and people are not commenting posts, people are not sharing posts, the community is just there, everybody is waiting for you, and you are feeling tired and all that. So there are a lot of things that you need to consider, because I see there are a lot of community members, people that have Facebook groups, people that have Facebook pages, they always complain that they seems to be the only person sharing content in their community, and they get tired. And even when they share, their community members don't engage and all that. So I tell them that if you had started the community the right way, like using the strategy that I use, there are so many problems that you're not going to have. Take for example, if you had started the community by sharing valuable content, like I explained the processes that I explained, if you had followed the process, and these people would have already get used to you, they would have known you for a very long time. So when you share content in your community, it's easier for them to engage. So there are some community management skills that you need to have. First, you need to be a good content creator. Secondly, you need to have a team. Like you need to have people that would help you oversee some things in your community. You need to have um, you need to have the basic skills for team leadership. You know, when it comes to managing communities, you need to understand that leadership has to play a very very key role in managing communities. So one thing you have to do is be a good content creator and try as much as you can to get people to help you grow your community. You need to have a team. You need to have people that are going to manage the people that are sharing content in your group. The spammers, you are going to get a whole lot of people that wants to spam your community. So you definitely um, you are definitely going to need help. So you need to have some leadership skills and some content creation skills. So those are the two skills that I recommend for continued relevance. The next one is how to keep your group active. It's very easy. You need to be very good with creating engaging content. Communities is all about content anyway. It's just how creative you are that determines how your community is going to grow. Communities is all about content. It depends on how creative you are and um, how good your team is. So in order to keep your group active, you need to be very, very good with different content style. Today, you are doing this, tomorrow you are doing another kind of content, next tomorrow you are doing a pool, the next tomorrow you are doing content, the next tomorrow your group has daily activities. Those are like one of the things that I did in my own community. Every day we have things that we do every day. Like on Monday, we have motivation Monday. On Tuesday, we have prayer request Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have foods for our kids Wednesday. On Thursday, we have the most we have hot seat Thursday where we bring the most engaged, the most active group member. We interview them. On Friday, we have marriage talks. On Saturday is giveaway, and on Sunday is fun day. So all these days in my community are all covered with activities, you know. So depending on the kind of group that you are running, each activities will have to be different from from another group. Do you get? So that's just how it works. You have to be very, very creative with the kind of content that you share in your community to keep your group active. Some communities do giveaways. Some communities they invite people to come and speak. Some communities have daily activities. So these are things that you should consider doing to keep your group active. And then you have to be active like every day because if you want to grow an engaged community, you have to be very, very active. So come up with good um, activities for your community, daily activities for your community, get people to help you, and then you definitely keep your group active. So the next one is how to become a certified Facebook community manager. It's pretty easy. All you need to do is just visit this link as you can see it here. You can just type it out on your web browser and it will take you to the page where I signed up, where I registered to take the exam. They have some study guides that you can study, and you take the exam. It's an online exam, and once you get certified, the interesting thing about being a Facebook certified community manager is that you have access to a private group for only certified community managers by Facebook. And in that group, you have opportunities of working with top brands as a community manager, and then you get paid for doing that. Another thing I would want to talk about is that because I have some questions from people who signed up to this webinar, where I asked some people their expectations and some questions, and some of you um, dropped some questions that I would love to tackle right now. The first question is how to get people to stay hooked to your community. Are there any incentives created periodically to make them stay or not? Like I said, I already gave you guys some strategies on how to keep your group active. There's really no, I won't say there's an incentive to keep group active. All you need to do is to make your group a fun place, make it a high valued community with high quality content, and people will stay hooked to you. What are the benefits of having a community? Well, Facebook groups are free, and then you also get the opportunity to become a leader, and people would definitely. Okay, okay. I think the network is so bad here. I think the network is so bad here. So the next question that I have here, um, how can I make money from these programs? Well, there are different ways that you can make money from Facebook communities. Um, there are a lot of things that you can do to make money from Facebook communities. Take, for example, for my own community, even though we are not really profit focused, but one way that you can make money from Facebook group is by selling a product or recommending a product. The product that you could sell could either be a product that you created yourself, physical or digital, or you recommend other people's products that are helpful to the members in your community, and they are going to buy. They are going to buy. They are going to buy. So those are the ways that you can make money from your communities. Is either you recommend a product or you sell your own product to your community members. So how do you manage a field you are not versatile about? It's very easy. Take, for example, my own community. I really do not have experience when it comes to parenting, like hands-on experience when it comes to parenting, but I was still able to, you know, I was still able to build the community to what it is today. So there are a lot of things that you can do. The first thing I recommend is to get content uh, creators, get content creators, and then let them help you create content on those topics that you really do not know much about. It's easier to do that way. They will help you create content and then you share to your community. So um, it's easier for you that way. Just get people that get content creators that are good in creating content, and then tell them that this is what I want you to do, and they are going to help you. So that is the solution to your problem. How do you manage a field you are not versatile about? It's either you try to um, learn more about the topic or the field, or you get somebody that already has an experience in that field, pay the person and let the person help you create content um, and do most of the managing for you. So I have a question here from Udumanena. Like I said, this is actually a very, very um, quick webinar. I really did not go deep down into most of these practices, but I believe you are getting most of the ideas from all what I've been sharing. So Udumanina Okoro said, I have 3,000 members but wish to grow it up to 10,000 in 3 months. Is it possible to do this? If possible, what are the best practices to make it possible? Do you have community moderators? How do you choose them? Okay, this is an interesting one. You want to grow your communities to 10,000 members in 3 months. The first thing, like if you have been with us from the initial stage, I already stated it that if you want to grow large communities, you have to understand that it all boils down. Okay, sorry, this network is so bad. The network is so bad, so bad, so bad. I'm so sorry for the breakdowns. So I'm trying to answer Ikena's question and I can't find it anymore. Can't find the question anymore.
I'll send it in, David. Please just give me a few seconds.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Tolu.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thanks. Okay. Okay, so like I said, if you had been with me when I started initially, you would understand that there are some groups that are destined not to grow large, and it all depends, it all boils down to the kind of group that you have. If you have a group that the topics are not interesting and the engagement is very low, it's not it's very, very impossible for you to grow to 10,000 members in 3 months. It's very, very impossible. I did not say possible, impossible for you to grow to 10,000 members in 3 months. But if your community is is one that is very, very interesting, if it's one that is very, very interesting, then you have every likelihood and opportunity to grow to 10,000 members in 3 months. So the best practices that you can do to grow your community members is first, you need to um, check the engagement rate in your community, see if people are actually interacting, if your 3,000 members are interacting, see if they are responding to the kind of content that you are creating. If they are, then you might want to do a contest, tell them to invite their friends, and the person who invites most in a week or in 3 days gets a gift from you. That's one best practice. Another way is to run Facebook ads. I can't really go deep down into how that is being done, but with Facebook ads, it's just that you are going to spend money. You are going to spend money doing that. So if you have the budget, if you have the fund, is another way that you can use to grow your community. And it's actually very, very fast, but you need to have some level of funds to do that. You need to have some level of funds to do that. So if your community is one that is very, very interesting, check your group engagement, see the level of engagement in your community with the 3,000 members that you have, and then try to come up with a contest and see if they are going to um, respond and interact with the contest. Sorry. So tell them to add their members and then get a free gift or free whatever that you want to share with them. It works a lot. It works a lot. That is if your community is very, very um, engaged. So Bewell said, if you created a Facebook group like buying and selling group and it has been a public group for some time, how do you leverage on the huge number of members for your own profit? I have a public group with 100K, 100 and 1,000 members. It's a different case because people who join this group come in to sell their product or buy from someone else. So you said, how do you leverage on the huge number of members for your own profit? It's very easy since it's a public group and people come in to buy and sell. The first thing is, do they know you? um, like, do they know you be well as the person who owns the community, or the group, the public group just have one generic name that there is no face to the brand? Because it's also very important, when you are building communities on Facebook, you have to be very, very strategic. You have to know the end from the beginning. A whole lot of people do mistake when it comes to building online communities, and that is why they face a whole lot of difficulties. So take for example, Bewell, if you had, I assume that you did not create this community with your own personal brand, and that is why you're having difficulties leveraging on the huge numbers of your membership to sell to them. Take for example, if they had known you very well, like, if they have engaged with you, they know you as somebody who does a whole lot of entrepreneurship stuff, since your community is all about buying and selling. If they've communicated with you personally as Bewell, it will be easier for you to sell. So the best thing that you can do for such community that has 101,000 members is just for you to keep sharing your own product. Since it's a buy and sell group, it's all about buying and selling. Just keep sharing your own product, and that's just the best practice for you. Share your own product, recommend your product, um, and hope that they would buy. So, is there any other question? Is it okay? Do you have community moderators? How do you choose them? Definitely, I have about 8 of them, and I choose them based on their level of activeness in the community. So, my moderators are my most active members. So it's easier for them to. They already love the community, so it's easier for them to engage with the community vision and mission. There are several ways to grow communities. There are different kind of communities online, and there are some communities that are just there, and there are some that adds value. There are some that you know they are they create impact. So it depends on the kind of community that you are growing. That depends on the kind of value that you are going to get in return from such communities. Public group like Bewell's group, um, it's one that can be frustrating at times, because the community, the members, they are just there to, at times they might end up spamming the community. Even moderating the community might become so difficult. So I really do not um advise most people, if you want to create a community that has impact that you can easily leverage your brand on, I always advise people to build it the right way. Build it the right way. If you build it the right way, you are not going to have so many problems. You're not going to have so many problems. So yes. Do you have community moderators? I already said yes, I have 8 of them, and I choose them by um, the most active community members. Just inbox them, and then you talk to them, let them know if they would love to help you manage and moderate the community. In most cases, they would say yes, because they love the community and all that. So yeah, is there any other question? This broadcast was just scheduled for 45 minutes, and I think I'll be rounding up now. I actually want to be doing this repeatedly, like pick a topic and not really talk much about community building in general. I might just pick a topic like how to create content for your community, and then I give you several strategies on how to create content, engaging content in your community, how to never run out of content in your community, and maybe some other time I'll pick how to grow your community organically and how to grow it with paid adverts. So maybe as time goes on, I'll be treating all these topics, and I will also teach you guys how to make money from your group. There are several ways that you can do that, and I would try to take these topics one after the other. I think trying to, rush everything now is too large to comprehend. But I believe I have been able to make it easier for most of you to understand. So the process is just so easy. All you need to do is pick a niche. If you are just starting out, pick a niche, pick a platform, build your brand, get your audience, and engage them with content. Once you do this consistently for 3 months, I assure you that you are going to um, you are going to love the result that you are going to get. You are going to love the result 100%. So that's just that about that. And we have come to the end of this webinar. If there is no any other questions, I would be ending this webinar. So yeah, you can follow me on all my social media platforms.
Yeah,
Instagram, Kachikwu David, Twitter, Kachikwu David, Facebook, Kachikwu David, and LinkedIn, David Kachikwu. Okay, over to you, Tommy. Can you hear me, Tommy? Over to you. I'm done.
thank you very much, David, and thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you. So thank you, everyone, for joining the call. Thank you all that have stayed the entire period of this webinar. I'm sure you were able to get one or two things from today, and as you can see that it takes a lot of um, effort and consistency in growing a community, and I want to believe that David has done some justice to explaining how you can actually start it and best strategies that you can immediately begin to implement to grow your community. And one thing that David didn't mention is that he has already started sharing some of these strategies and tactics on his social media pages. So it will be very good for you to follow him on all the social media pages that is currently showing on your screen, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and especially LinkedIn. There's a wealth of knowledge on building Facebook communities there. And he mentioned, coming up with subsequent webinars so that you can go directly to specific topics on content, on monetizing your Facebook groups and all. So you can get some of this valuable information already, even on his LinkedIn. And stay tuned to his pages so that you will be informed when those subsequent webinars will come up. So thank you so much for staying the course. We're going to send you a feedback form after this webinar, just as we end. We're going to send you a feedback form. So one of the things that you can do for us is to tell us areas that you want David to cover in the subsequent webinars, or even on your social media pages, if there are specific topics that you want him to share his knowledge, his practical knowledge on, you'll be able to do that. It is not an easy feat managing a community of over 700,000 members that are women, specifically women. At least about 98% of them are women, and keeping them engaged over time. So that is one thing that he has done successfully, and I think many of us can learn from that. So you please follow his social media pages and let us know what you want to learn from him in the subsequent webinars. Thank you again for staying all through this webinar. We hope to see you when subsequent ones come in the future. Thank you so much. Have a lovely afternoon, everyone.